Good evening, PCS Nation family. Welcome to Monday night edition of PCS Nation Out the Window. Coming to you live on Facebook from the PCS Nation studios, just outside of Blue, New York City, in the suburbs. Far enough away to not have to deal with it, yet close enough to be right there pointing my finger and laughing. That's where we are, that's how we do it, and that's what's up. And we are getting Queen Linda in here already. Good
Hello.
evening, Queen Linda. That was quick.
Yeah, that was quick.
I didn't even get started yet.
Yeah, I know. It's like I'm just jumping in, so
No, cool.
you just keep going.
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot of variety about what to talk about tonight. Obviously, we're going to spend a lot of this on what's going on over in Russia right now.
Yeah.
There's, you know what I
though?
did see? This was something that I'll forget if I don't say it now, too. Because I
Okay,
just
yeah,
listened
go
to
ahead.
it on the way coming home, rather. That there was another freaking congressman bailed out. Like another congressman surrendered. They're up to 31 now. I can't remember his name or where he's from. But another Democratic congressman surrendered ahead of time. You know what's coming.
Not going to run for re-election?
I know, yeah.
Wow.
31.
We're
31
win
of
by
them now.
default pretty soon.
Like, why are we even having the elections? Just like everybody.
Yeah.
That's pretty ugly.
Pretty crazy.
But that's not, that's probably something nobody heard about today. Or few people heard about today because there was so much else going on.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm assuming that COVID is over also because nobody's talking about that anymore
I guess. They're lifting the school mask mandates in New York in like 2 weeks now, which I don't even know why they're waiting. Yeah, I think we've moved on to the Ukrainian variant now of the Democrat virus.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Joe Biden is
That's a
going to
question
do the State
already.
of the Union address tomorrow night, right? It's at night, isn't it?
I believe so.
They're not moving it up to like before nap time or anything.
That's a good question, and we should look into that just to make sure we don't miss it.
Yeah,
But I believe it's going to actually they're going to make it like a regular, normal State of the Union address, like we're having like the Union is in a regular, normal state right now.
Yeah. And don't they usually enter the chamber like from the back and make their way down the aisle and shaking hands and slapping backs all the way?
Like, I don't usually pay that much attention to these. And like when I watch it, I'm sorry?
I think that's how
the
president enters those things is like from the back of the chamber, and it takes him like 5 minutes to get down to the front because he's shaking hands and, slapping everybody on the back and talking. And
all right, so let's assume that that's how it works.
I can't believe that Joe Biden couldn't do that. He's never going to make it. He's never going to make it all the way down the aisle.
Well, okay, I was going to ask, you think he's not going to make it down the aisle, or you think he's not going to make it to 7 o'clock?
Well, maybe both. But I'll bet you they're going to find some reason why he's not going to come down that whole aisle shaking hands and, whatever they usually do.
Yeah.
Because I bet you there's no way he could have.
I don't know. Maybe they're going to modify it for COVID. Who knows? I had an odd occurrence related to Joe Biden today. Just a strange thing that you wouldn't think would happen.
What?
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. So they were showing a clip of him. He had just arrived back from Camp Brendan. It was like noon, I guess, or whatever, maybe a little after. And he gets off the helicopter and he's practically sprinting across the lawn. And they make him walk like 100 yards, which I don't know how that makes any sense. It seems kind of weird to me. But he's doing this long stride walk, and he's going and going and going, just heading for the White House, and he's not listening to anybody. And the reporters are screaming questions at him. And one of the reporters screamed out, Mr. President, are you worried about nuclear war with Russia? Like at the top of her lungs. And the only thing I thought of was like, there's only one thing that this man's worried about right now, okay? He's an 80-year-old man. He just took a helicopter ride. He walked quickly 100 yards across a lawn in 30 degrees, and he's going into the warm White House. The only thing that man's worried about right now is making it to the bathroom. So
Yeah.
forget about your questions. I don't even know why anybody was bothering asking him anything. He wasn't going to answer anyway, so.
Yeah.
We are tapping in right now, if I can get this done right, with Justin. Justin. Mr. Justin, are you there?
Yep, can you hear me?
All right. That took a second, but I think it was tech. Linda, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
All right. Everybody's in. Everybody remember Justin, my son. Justin, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Justin.
I actually want to ask you a question because this is something I don't know. Like when you're on these calls with us, are you actually on Facebook watching the show or listening to the show, or you're just on the phone with me and Linda?
I'm just on the phone with you and Linda because I don't want to create an interference.
Okay, I got it. Now I just was curious how you were setting it up and what you were looking at, because I know we just talked a couple minutes ago about that. It'd be kind of cool to have you in front of the computer. That way you can pop in there and look some stuff up if we need to. So what's going on, Linda? You got anything else?
Me? No,
Yeah.
I don't got anything else.
All right. So Justin, you're pretty fired up when we talked the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
A lot of big things going on. I don't know if you guys have talked at all about the Ukraine stuff.
Yes, we have.
All right. Well, what have you guys been talking about so far?
All right. Well, it's a mess. It's a bad situation. It seems like it's getting worse. I mean, I'm not going to go into a deep analysis of it. We all kind of up to speed on it. We know what's going on over there. We know that Ukraine's kind of in trouble. They're kind of surrounded, and it's not looking great. They're fighting like hell, and they've been impressive as hell. And there's been individuals that we've actually pointed out, but they're putting up a good fight, and hopefully they can hang in there until something gives. We know there is question about whether Putin's sanity is intact, but, that's just speculation. And I don't think it matters, because once you start talking about nuclear weapons, it doesn't make any difference whether you're saying or whether you're not saying. That's a problem either way and should be addressed. But that's me getting off the topic and getting into my own feelings. I don't know. Linda, did I miss anything? What do we know?
Well, we didn't talk about any of it tonight yet, so
True.
Anything that happened since the show on Friday night, we have not addressed it at all.
Okay. All right, so that's where we're at, Jay. What do you got?
All right. So first off, I thought it would be nice just to talk about the quick recap about the legend that had been born now in the past 72 hours. Obviously, the first big one in the first 24 hours, we've had our first ace pilot come out of the woodwork since World War II, which would be the Ghost of Kiev, if you guys have heard of that.
Yeah.
Over Kiev, a Ukrainian pilot flying an MiG 29 took out 6 Russian Su-57s by himself and then disappeared without a trace.
Okay. You got more? Or was it question time?
And people are saying, oh, it's Ukrainian propaganda, or they're saying there's more than one person. I don't think that's what the gist of it matters. I think it's more of a symbol of hope than it needs to be legitimately valid, even if it's not.
Yeah, you know what?
there you go.
That's a cool way to look at it, because actually a lot of people are jumping in the comments saying it's a bullshit story and it's not true and it's all nonsense and blah blah blah. But what you said is like a different take on it. Say it again. Just say it one more time in case people weren't paying attention. Just run it by me one more time.
I would attribute it the closest thing to Kilroy in World War II. All over Europe they make the little graffiti and they write Kilroy was here.
Right.
Just as a psychological tactic. I don't
symbolic.
think it really matters. Yeah, I don't think it really matters if the Ghost of Kiev is one person or if it's multiple people. taking up the mantle. I think it's a symbol of hope from such a smaller and perceivably weaker country.
Right.
That they need something like that to,
Okay, I mean, that's not a bad way to look at it. It was a good story, and it got legs, and people, it was interesting, and it was intriguing. Like, it made you want it to be true. And apparently, well, I don't know, apparently it sounded like it's not, but that's a good take on it, too. It's just like bringing the people together and just giving them something tangible to latch onto.
I still think it's true, and I'd like to believe that it's true.
I mean, what are they? Okay, first of all, my first question was the plane that they're saying this person was flying is the MiG-29. Now that's a real dated aircraft, isn't that? Is that correct?
That aircraft was manufactured in 1983.
Okay.
The Su-57s that the Russians are flying were manufactured in 2002. So if it is true, he's taking out planes by himself that are 19 years younger than it.
Wow. And have 19 years more tech. And there's no, like, they haven't, everybody's quick to say it's a bullshit story, which it may very well be. Is there any evidence that it is a bullshit story and that it's not true? Like, is anybody coming up with, like, legit evidence, or is that just speculation?
Not that I could find.
Yeah.
It's always people saying, well, prove that it's true. But it's like, well, you're making the argument that it's not true. Prove that it's not true.
Now, that's fair enough. But is there any hard evidence either way, or is this just like a spitting contest?
Spitting contest, from what I can tell. There's so much going on right now.
Right.
You really only have to go on, what the citizens of Ukraine are posting online.
Yeah, I know every single one of them I've seen is holding a gun.
Yep.
So that says something right there. You don't see that, like, here in our protests. We just light shit on fire and stuff. Well, it's not this is a whole different world. But, yeah, that was kind of impressive. Like, literally everybody's got a gun now in the Ukraine. I keep coming back to this, and I don't know that it's going to work out good one way or the other, or bad one way or the other. I think Putin bit off a whole lot more than he was expecting to with this whole thing. And he's got to be getting frustrated and panicked about it.
Yep.
And
so I brought up to talk about legends. I think the real legend that's going to come out of this war is the president of Ukraine himself.
Zelensky.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now that we have talked about.
It's one thing to start a war and, you send your citizens out to go fight it. It's a whole nother thing when, your cabinet or whatever the hell they have is like, sir, we got to get out of here, you got to go, we got to get you somewhere safe. And he's like, no, to hell with that. These are my people. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to fight with my people until the bitter end. Yeah.
There was that thing that came out that he had tweeted, or I don't know if he had tweeted or it said it, but Biden contacted him and offered to get him out of the country. And the message back was, I don't need a riot, I need some ammunition.
Yeah.
So this guy's got... Go ahead.
I heard that.
Yeah.
And I have an excerpt from a speech he made over their national television, their national network.
All right, go ahead.
And it's not the whole quote, it's just an excerpt from it, and it goes, and we will stand and fight, all men aged 18 to 60, stay and defend your country. And I promise you, shall it come to it, I myself will die with an empty, warm pistol in my hand next to you.
Wow.
That's like some... Go ahead.
I can tell you from a woman's point of view, a lot of my women friends on Facebook are posting this meme or something about every woman in the world right now has a crush on Zelensky.
Yeah.
And it's kind of true.
It's funny, too, like his whole background, which we talked about a little bit. Like, this guy was an actor and a comedian. And he's on Dancing with the Stars. Like, he was on the Ukrainian version of Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
It's just, the whole story is just pretty, it's intriguing. Like, you want to know more about it. And he's a great-looking guy. So yeah, I could certainly see how that comes about too. But yeah, the courage just being displayed, and it's not even just him; it's just across the board. It's by the people as well. And somebody, I don't even know who it was talking about it on one of the news shows, and they brought up the tennis player. There was a pro tennis player, I think, that just jumped in today and made a statement that they were going back into the country to fight, and they were asking this Afghan, Jesus. What country we in again? Oh, Ukrainian. This Ukrainian national about that, and they brought this tennis player's name up. It's like, yes, he's doing that, and that's wonderful, but there are thousands and thousands of people who are not famous that are doing this. And he was saying there's people coming in from other surrounding countries, and including Russia, are trying to come into the country and get involved with the military to help fight Russia.
Yep, they're seeing a record number of Russian defectors illegally moving into the country, finding any dispensary that they can find that are giving out the weapons and munitions, and they're picking up weapons against their own.
As they go, really?
I wouldn't even call them their own, you know. They're puppets to the state, you know?
Yeah.
And they have no idea why they're there.
Right.
The Russian soldiers, every time they get captured, they're like, we don't even know why we're here.
Really?
Wow.
You know, and I saw a couple of clips where they had, it's just like when you go through Twitter, you get to a screen and you get a headline and you get a little brief synopsis, and there's like some of them, they just show a video and the video runs without sound before you actually go on to the tweet. And I looked at a couple of them, and it looked like there was a couple of different instances where they had Russian soldiers. I didn't think any Russian prisoners, actually, like Russian soldiers as prisoners. And I didn't listen to it. I should have listened to it. I just figured it was probably in Russian or in Ukrainian, so I just watched it and I read. So I should go back and listen to it and check some of that out. But I did notice some of that, and that's pretty crazy too.
Well, there's been now reports of war crimes now on Russia's part, where they detained a boat of Russian soldiers dressed as Ukrainian soldiers.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say something else.
You may or may not have known is a big no-no.
Oh, sure. That's like, there was I can't remember his name, but there was a high-ranking soldier from the Revolutionary War that ended up getting executed for that, involved with the whole thing with Benedict Arnold in West Point. It was, I think he might have been a French soldier that was fighting with, I don't want to go into a history lesson, and I can't remember his name, but it was a French soldier, but a famous, like a high-ranked French soldier, or French soldier that was fighting for the Americans that got busted and executed for doing that. You can't dress as the opposing side soldiers, and if you get caught while you are dressed that way, you're immediately considered a spy and you're immediately executed.
Wow. I'm not sure if they executed this squad, but
okay.
They had detained them. There is pictures of them, you know, on the dock. They didn't even get off the boat. On the dock, belly to the boards.
Wow.
And handcuffed.
Now I don't know if what I said is.
Boats,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Speaking of boats, there's the Snake Island bombardment.
Okay.
Did you hear about that?
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I kind of know about that one.
A very small island off Ukraine, Snake Island, is a Ukrainian-owned. They had a very small, like, forward operating base with 16 Ukrainian soldiers on it, and a Russian warship came by it. They hailed their radio frequency, and they're like, "This is a Russian warship. Surrender. We know that you have troops there. Surrender the island, or we're going to bombard it." And they kept repeating the message, and they have video of the Ukrainians talking about, like, what they're going to do. And I was, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? And they keep repeating the message. We're going to bombard the island. And then they open up their channel, and they go, they literally just answer the threat that they were going to be bombarded. Russian warship, go fuck yourself. and they hung up the channel.
Yeah, I did actually hear about that. I just didn't know it was that Skull Island. I don't know what it was called. Snake Island. I'm sorry.
And then they bombarded the island, killed all 16 of the soldiers that
Well,
were stationed there.
I actually heard that there might have been some survivors from it. It was just something I saw in passing, but they said there might have been a couple of survivors.
I heard that too. I heard that it was bombarded, but they took prisoners. But I'm not completely sure on the legitimacy of that claim.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with this. You just don't know which stories to believe and which not, and probably all of them have an element of truth, and all of them have, some embellishment.
And I'm just watching some of the comments go by, and like people are saying nobody's fighting, but people are saying like exactly the opposite things of each other. It's happening so quick, and it's just so much crazy shit going on right now.
Oh my God! So much stuff just happened in the last 36 hours. Alone.
Yeah.
They had the anonymous attack on Russia. You had Elon Musk bring up online.
Yeah, he said
the Starlink
setups. Yeah, that was cool. He said they're sending more too.
Yep. So Russia, literally cannot turn off the internet and infrastructure on Ukraine now.
Cool.
Switzerland has broken their 200-year streak of neutrality on the matter.
And they're.
And 2 days ago, I have the article up now. Germany is also now taking sides. They're going to be sending 1,000 anti-tank weapons, 500 Stinger anti-aircraft defense systems, and 400 rocket propelled grenades.
Yeah.
Along with 9 howitzers and medical aid and food to civilians.
See, this is what I was saying before, man. He bit off more than he could chew. He didn't think it was going to go this way. He didn't think there was going to be a coalescence of these outside forces, because I didn't either. I mean, I really didn't. I thought everybody was going to have their own little thing to bitch about and try and stay out of it. And it's not. The world is turning on this, man. The whole world, with one big exception, which we'll get to, is turning on Putin right now. And they're starting to question his sanity, which is something we should definitely talk about. Because, go ahead, what? What do you got?
You've made a severe lapse in judgment when fucking ISIS on Twitter is saying, like, hey, dude, you gotta fucking calm down, okay?
I didn't see that. You have to send that one to me.
I didn't see that either, but I believe it.
I'm paraphrasing it very liberally.
Throwing a couple of fucks in.
Yeah.
I don't think
that was basically
ISIS actually says fuck. They probably have a different word. Yeah, they probably got a different word for it. All right. I didn't teach him that, everybody. Just so everybody knows. I didn't teach him those words. I really didn't. Did I, Justin?
No, you did not.
Okay, there you go. That's all you need to say.
Yeah, okay, yep.
So is he sane or is he nuts? What do we think?
I don't know.
And does it matter?
I think we have 2 senile presidents with nuclear buttons now on our hands.
That's a pretty rough way to look at it, but it could very well be. Linda.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. Do you think which one do you think has got more on the ball, Biden or Putin?
I don't think it's comparable.
About equal?
I don't think it's comparable at this point, because first of all, let's just do the disclaimer. None of us are doctors. We're just 3 people in 3 different parts of the country just talking on a phone to a bunch of other people that are watching it on the screen. None of us, I don't know if any of you out there are a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I know Justin's not a doctor, and I know Linda works in the industry, but she is, as far as I know, not a doctor. So nobody's diagnosing anybody. We're just talking, okay? That's what we do. And make questions worse. We don't know that either one of them has mental problems. Okay, fine. It's said. Let's just get that out of the way. Obviously, Joe Biden's got some shit going on. Putin, I don't know. Personally, I can't say yes or no. I see something. I don't see something. I don't know. I haven't really been watching him that closely. More of just like an abstract, sitting back and watching the whole thing. He looks different. He looks physically not as good as he did in the past. He's not smiling, but that could be for obvious reasons too. He's got to be getting frustrated. He's got to be getting stressed. He's probably not getting a lot of sleep, you would think. I don't know. I'm not going to diagnose him. I'm not going to say this guy's crazy because I just don't know. Going on the presumption that he is, though, it's different between what you're seeing with Biden and what you're seeing with Putin, whatever he may be going through. Because Biden it's a thing that's been going on. It's a thing that gradually started a while ago and is working its way, again, presuming that it is what we all think it is when we all know it is. You're used to that and you know what goes on with that. You don't know what's going on in Putin's head. And if he's not crazy, it's almost even worse because now you're talking about nuclear weapons from a rational, thoughtful perspective and not being insane. Yeah. That's scarier to me than a person who's not stable talking about nuclear weapons. Because with that, you at least got a chance. With somebody who's rational talking about it, they're making decisions. They're inside of their head, and they know what their intentions are and what they're planning on doing and the results of that, what those potentially could be. You're reasoning. You're asking yourself the questions, and you're still talking about this. That's scarier than an insane person.
Yeah. Because an insane person could just, the very next day, like, not even remember that they wanted to do it.
Yeah. Or it could be a different plan in 5 minutes. And again,
that's right.
You don't know what the malady is. You don't know what's going on, if there even is anything. It's just comparing the two is hard because it's just like, all right, is Joe going to make it from the helicopter to the bathroom? That's his issue.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to, get through a 2-hour speech tomorrow night? That's his issue. As far as fighting a nuclear war against Russia, we have no chance. There's no way they're going to make the right decisions on that. There's no way they're going to make decisions in time because they're going to try and cover their ass by nature because that's what they do before any decisions are even made. It's going to be a fucking catastrophe. There's no way we can go into this with this man running things. It's just, we can't. I've said it 1,000 times. I'm tired of saying it. You're probably tired of hearing it, but go ahead, Justin.
Well, you also got to, come into consideration. This isn't just, some guy with potentially, dementia or whatever side effects. This is a man with Spetsnaz, KGB training background.
Absolutely.
Not everything, if everything, is, the screws are loosening up back there, one minute, he's living in the real world. The next, Kennedy's the president, and, you got Khrushchev on the office, and he's just following orders. Yeah, you got a point there.
Well, yeah, it's got its own baggage to it too. It's just, this can't happen. Like, this really can't happen. And we talked about earlier today, I think I posted something, but cooler heads prevailing. There just aren't any cooler heads in this White House. That's what it all comes down to for me. I think we're in big trouble.
I think when it comes to this, we should let Europe handle themselves. We are so far disconnected, just culturally, with Europe that we don't have the mind space to handle this in a productive way. And I think that
we don't have the resources, we don't have the military, we don't have the money, we don't have anything to handle this in any way.
No, we don't have anything to deal with this properly.
Exactly.
And it seems without our involvement, like direct involvement, obviously they're having our support and our, and our resources in the form of, like the internet and advice like that. I think that Germany and, those neighboring countries are more than capable of supplying and helping Ukraine with the predicament that they're currently in.
You know what? And just to even further emphasize what you just said, I think maybe they're starting to feel like they have to because of our lacking, because of our not being there and not being a big part of this, because this has never been like this for a long time. Anytime something like this came down, America was there in some presence, in the center of it, in the mix, mediating it or whatever. And we're not this time because it doesn't seem like anybody much wants us to be. Ukraine does. They want our resources. And I don't blame them. That's fine. But it doesn't seem like Europe's all that interested in us being involved in this. Or anybody else, really. So that's a little disturbing. But you do make a good point in that, yeah, it is something they should be handling. It is something they should be able to handle without us. I'm a little uncomfortable from other reasons that we're not like as involved as we've been in the past.
I think I know where you're going with this, and I would say if China were to get involved, then we might want to, start lacing up our bootstraps and getting ready.
Well, here's the whole problem with that, and you know what? It's another whole show. Excuse me, I'm choking. I'm getting dry. We have no chance of handling China. We talked about this Friday night. We're having all this problem. We fucked up Afghanistan. Afghanistan's a desert with nomadic people. Like we fucked up Afghanistan, a big chunk of nothing. Okay? We're fucking up Russia, who are obviously a step up from Afghanistan. They're nuclear armed. They have a military, but they don't have anywhere near the economy we do. They're not even in the same universe as us as far as resources, economy, infrastructure, things like that. And we can't deal with them. We're fucking this up. We have no chance of dealing with China. And again, we almost made it the whole way without coming back to the same theme. It all comes back to that. It just feels so much like this whole thing is a part of a big grand plan, and it's playing out wonderfully, from a launch of a virus to having the superpowers of the world fighting around you while you just sit there and watch. If I'm insane, by all means say so. It wouldn't be the first one. But try and see it that way and see if it doesn't start making sense. And again, there's no answer. Not from me. I just make the questions worse.
Yeah. You
Every
gotta
time.
think about this. You gotta ask yourself,
What?
you gotta take a step back and think about who is gaining from this.
China.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the obvious answer, but how you come to that conclusion? Russia obviously isn't fucking getting anything from this. They probably lost the most from this. They started the conflict, so you got to think about what egged them on, and obviously the answer is China.
No, Justin, this is something he's been aspiring to do this for years. They made a movie on Ukraine in 2014.
Yeah, I know, but what was the tipping point?
The tipping point.
I think the whole 4 years that Trump was in office, he knew he had to hold back. And
Yeah,
it was
100%.
festering inside of him. And now he's finally got his chance, and he's had 4 years to build all this up inside of him and want to do it.
100%. That was the tipping point. I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for. But that was the tipping point. Biden going into the White House was absolutely the tipping point for this. Go ahead.
I don't know what the answer for it is, because that's why I'm asking the question.
Oh, okay, but we don't.
Well, now he knows what we think.
Yeah, you don't. We have no answers, Justin. You got to watch the show. We don't answer anything. We just take all the questions and jack them up even more. That's how it works. Every single time. It's just uncanny. That's how we do it.
Hey, there's couple of comments on here that Justin has some very thought-provoking ideas.
Cool.
And thank you, Justin. Yeah, from Jennifer Jerem Landley. She said, thank you, Justin. And let's see, Teresa Carlson also. Thank you, Justin.
Awesome.
Definitely things to think about.
See, that's cool. I'm glad I asked you about whether you saw the screen or not, because you would have never even known any of that.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I think next
Justin,
time I come, I'll mute my computer and...
no, you do what you got to do. We'll get you in.
Well.
It's all good. We can read you. We can read you when everybody says nice things about you. We'll do that, and we'll read stuff when they say you're an idiot too.
Okay.
That's part of the game, man. You got to take the good with the bad. But you're doing good. You're fitting right in with the team here, and this is working out nicely, I think.
I think so too.
All right, Linda. Anything?
Nope, I don't have anything else.
Justin, anything?
Not anything in particular. I'd love to see Joe Biden try to carry a full standard issue military pack like Zelensky is, or Zelensky is.
You better go get some sleep. You're out of your mind.
Oh God, yeah. His bones are way too brittle for that.
Yeah.
I'm all tongue-tied now. Yeah.
It's because of what you said. Somebody probably put a jinx on your tongue. How funny that was. All right, we're getting out of here, guys. Listen, real quick, get over to the Substack page, sign up, subscribe to the PCS Nation page on Substack. $6 a month. It's 21 cents a day. Come on, guys. You've been with me almost 5 years now. I got to be worth 21 cents a day. Hook it up. $60 a year if you want to go for the full year, and that'll obligate me to another year of doing it, as much as I may end up hating it for a full year from the time you sign up. So, pcsnation.substack.com. $6 a month, $60 a year. Get access to the full website, all the videos, the morning reports, and everything else we do over there. If you're still on Twitter, hook us up. Linda's going to type it in. I'm not even doing it. I'm just saying it. We are on Twitter at PCS Nation bitches, but it's spelled unconventionally. So watch in the comments and I'll give you the spelling for that. And I'm still going to go change that name sooner or later. That's about it, guys. Thank you all for coming out tonight. We appreciate it. We'll see you again Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Friday night edition of PCS Nation Out the Window. We will talk on the boards. Thanks for your support here on Facebook, on Twitter, on wherever else we may roam, and everything else we do. Love you guys, and we are out.